And we're alive. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath. Hold it and relax. Break Monday coming at you once again like Finnegan. If you've got a yen to expand your kin, then let's get zen. Deep breath and relax. Umi tofu, guys. I hope you're doing all right out in Happy Land tonight. Y'all good-looking, sexy people. Frank Monday, Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon. This one goes out to Sal Smith, guys. Frater Sal. Esoteric Order of Dagon. Frater Sal. Esoteric Order of Dagon. Adeptus Exemptus. Good man, getting it done. Y'all don't be afraid to check out, to get over. Don't be afraid to get over there and check me out on the old coffee page, guys. I'm going to see if I can get a better internet connection. We'll see what we got going on here. I'll turn off that light. Maybe that'll help. Is that going to help? Does that look better? Broadcasting to you from the central kingdom of the celestial dragon, Twilight Zone Old Peking, your friend and well-wisher Frank Monday. Far behind the bamboo firewall. Welcome back, everyone. Make sure you hit the likes and subscribe. Get it done. Do it right now. Yo, 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 what's happening out in Happy Land? Y'all good-looking, sexy people doing all right tonight. Happy to hear it. Happy to see it. 100-day challenge, guys. Way of the Psionic Agent. Bien. Yeah. I love to see it. I love to see you guys hitting those like buttons. Man, get it done. Do it now. What the fuck's the matter with you? Come over there and smack you in the mouth. Just kidding. I'm just playing with you. Let's roll back that music a little bit, man. That stuff is bumping and thumping. Give me just a second, guys. I got to get situated. Have you seen anything fun recently, man? Did you guys watch that Katy Perry video where she went to space? Did she really go to space? Is that what happened, man? Is she an astronaut? Or is she not an astronaut? I don't know, man. You guys tell me. You guys know it better than I do. Y'all are experts in the field of fakery. All right? I think you are. I think you guys know what's up. I think you guys know how to fake it. Fake it till you make it. Just don't break it. Gonna shake it and bake it. Right? Gonna get at it. Rude Girl is in the house. Not awake, better not. Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Wake on up, right? Let's get busy tonight, guys. I kind of feel like shit, to be honest with you, man. It's been a rough week. I had a bunch of man, that beverage didn't even sound like it popped correctly. You should never drink a beverage that doesn't pop correctly, man. That's kind of weird. Not much of a hiss. Let's give it a tasty poo and see if it's any good. I don't think the uh, just force feed it, right? Just get it done. Don't worry about it. Let it take the pain away, at least for a time. A time, at least for a time. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, it's been a rough week, man. Tough stuff going on in life and in the world, you know. All the fear and loathing and the madness. I mean, what can you even do about any of it, really? You know, there's so much going on, so much in every fucking direction that you just don't even, half the time you don't even know what's up, you know. You just gotta roll with the punches, you know. Keep your nose to the grindstone. Yeah, sometimes you gotta drink that bitter herbal medicine to get better. That bitter herbal tea. I was checking out Black Scout Survival earlier. You guys might watch him. He's got a little channel here on the Booby Tube. The Boob Tube. Why you always watching the Boob Tube? The idiot box. Because you know, it helps pass the time.
When the door opens from the inside, your space mission just turned into a stage play.
So this is him here. His name's Jack. Something's up with Jack. Something's up with Jack. Will we ever get him back? Something's up with Jack. So he's a good looking guy, man. He puts on, he's got some muscles, right? Not a bad looking man. Got a nice dark mustachio, right? Got all them tribal tattoos. I don't know what's up with that. What's he trying to hide, right? Who's he hiding from? Who you hiding from with all those tattoos, Jack? Yeah, he's been hitting the gym. It shows. That door, right? What door? Yeah, let's find out about it. So his shirt says FAFO, FAFO. Fuck around and find out, right? I think that's what it means. Fuck around and find out.
Jeff Bezos, the space cowboy.
Jeff Bezos is the space cowboy. I didn't know that. I thought he was like a Japanese cowboy or a brother on skates. I lost my true love, boy, and that's what it takes.
Amazon overlord and the new face of the space theater has just launched the most suspicious space mission of probably in history.
Yeah.
Blue Origin NS-31. Now, this is supposed to be an all-women milestone flight.
There it is, all women. Bunch of good-looking broads in there, huh? What do they got over there? What you got over there with all them women's? Just give me some of them women's. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I get it. 3 and 3, right? 33. Little shout out to their Freemasonic overlords, right? The 33. Bet you thought I didn't see that, huh? 3 on this side, 3 on that side. Oh yeah, all bow to the 33rd degree.
Turned more into something that reeked of a psychological operation.
Did
wrapped
it?
in glitter. And pop lyrics.
Spandex.
I mean, look at this. Now this
wrapped in glitter and spandex. This guy's got it figured out, man. This Jack guy, he's got like 500,000 subs. He's got his hat on. He knows how to get that profile camera shot in there, man. That's a good looking side shot right there. I can appreciate that.
Wasn't science. This wasn't space exploration. These were not astronauts.
Look at that scene right there, that setting. That is so fucking bogus. So spurious. That little dick tip didn't go anywhere, man. That looks like a pop-up tent.
This was a ritual, a distraction, or a multi-layered
absolutely a ritual.
Let you choose. I'm going to break it down. Why this mission is so suspicious
Jack gonna break it down. He gonna tell you why it's suspicious. Gonna spoon feed it to you. One little nugget at a time, baby. Look at her coming out of that dick tip. She ready to get rocketed out of the fucking into outer space. It's gonna be crazy.
And what they're actually trying to do here.
What
Now,
are they trying to do?
There's
Jack?
going to be a lot to this, and
Really? There ain't much to it, man. It's all fucking Hollywood, smoke and mirrors. Ain't shit going on.
we're going to first start off with the door that blew the illusion.
The door that blew the illusion. What happened with the door? Lady Schadenfreude, she knows what's up with the door. She says that door, LOL. Let's find out. I don't know. Let me see.
Okay, going to play this
Okay.
video for you.
Do it.
This is the moment that the whole spell broke. Jeff
Really?
Bezos is
What
standing
happened?
there
Let me
with
see.
a special
Wait a minute. Wait a good goddamn minute. Who's that motherfucker in the wig right
Vision.
there?
Okay, going to play
What
this
is,
video
what
for
is
you.
going on with that?
This is the moment that the whole spell broke. Jeff
Why they got
Bezos
some,
is standing there with
Why they got some creepy looking dude, androgynous dude in a onesie with a fake ass wig on? I bet that dude under that wig is just as bald as Bezos. Oh, bald Bezos. Let's find out.
the special tool outside the capsule
Ooh,
that
he's got
he's
a nice
supposed
ass, though.
to use to
You guys see
unlock the door.
Bezos got a tight little
And
bum.
because
like
it's a
12-year-old
pressurized hatch,
boy.
everyone's watching. The moment is tense.
I bet that's what Jack's
But then
checking
Katy
out.
Perry casually opens the door
Look at
from the
that.
inside. No
Super zoom
decompression.
He's got
No-
he had like a leather wallet full of money on his back too. Do you see that wallet in his back pocket? I wonder who still fucking wears a wallet in their back pocket. Good God in heaven, man. That's the most uncomfortable fucking pain in the ass type of thing, to have a leather wallet in your back pocket. Let's check out that bum again.
Safety
now.
team
Show me
rushing
that-
in. No gas, hiss. No mechanical unlock. Just pop, like you open up your front door. Smile, and the stream cuts.
Doesn't even look like a front door. It looks more like a flap on a tent. It looks like one of those Mongolian yurts. All right.
Okay, that is the funny video. Let me show you the real video. This is from Fox. And tell me what you see here. I'm going to play with the audio just so you can tell in the beginning, but then I'm going to cut audio and talk to
out of her mouth.
Hey, keep the fucking door
So
shut.
this is the real video.
Wiggy dude's there is like, keep the door shut. We got to pretend to
And
open
it's
it.
starting. They realized this video was live because it's live stream. And there's a slight delay when you're playing a live video. But again, I'm going to pull it back. Pay attention.
Out of
Watch the door.
her mouth.
Don't open the door yet. We got to unlock it with the key.
All right, so
The video cut at that moment. Now, if you go, this is the only video I could find that was still intact.
All right, y'all. Welcome to the show. You see Jack up above? That's Jack, guys. Go check him out at Black Scout Survival. He's fit as a fiddle. He's got the FAFO shirt on. Fuck around and find out. He's kind of like he's like a ex-Marine Corps frogman type Delta Force guy that sells, supplements and camping gear and prepping gear and stuff like that. He's into machine guns and motorcycles, man. He's a true blue American.
If you go try to search this particular video on Fox, what you're going to find is they've strategically placed a commercial, because when you're
That's
a
right.
YouTuber
That's right.
or you have a YouTube channel, you can strategically
isn't it?
place commercials at certain points of the video. A lot of people do it for engagement during the
That's
time
right.
when something's
That's what
about to
they do.
break in the video.
Laugh
But
out
they
loud.
strategically placed
I
it here
heard
so you have
You
that
heard it
cut
here
boom
first.
and then this section here.
Yeah.
So again, let me pull this back.
Go ahead and pull it back a little bit, Jack. Why don't you pull it back a little, Jack? Let's get a real good look at that dick tip sitting out there in the desert.
And you can tell they're trying to cut the feed at this moment because the door just pops open Watch. Here we go.
No, I don't think you went far enough back.
Oh, I didn't pull it back far enough. Sorry.
No, yeah, rewind a little more. Okay.
Pop. Oh no! Close the door.
Yeah, close the motherfucking door.
Cut the feed. Cut the feed.
Somebody needs to get slapped in the mouth for that. I think that was Katy Perry. You know how she is, you know. She gets excited. She's anxious. She wants to be in front of the camera and get her moment, you know, her moment in the sun. She wants to shine. She's just a flower looking for the sunshine rays. I get it. I feel you, Katie. She's an Anaheim girl, right? Like Gwen Stefani. That's why I grew up with these girls. I know what it's all about.
Blacks out. And then magically the door's shut. They're over there. They're waiting for Jeff Bezos with the special tool.
You guys think Jack's bald? I've never seen him without a hat on. I think sometimes dudes that wear hats 24/7, I think they might be hiding like a big bald spot on top or something.
Cool, right now. That's not a space cap.
I'm just speculating. I don't know for sure, right?
So that's a prop. And the second it opens, again, they immediately cut the feed because they knew that anyone with a functioning brain would say, wait, what?
Is it okay for me to speculate about the top of Jack's head? This is Black Scout Survival, guys. Make sure you guys check him out. It's a good video. I really like this video. So tonight, Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, Frank Monday, coming at you once again like Finnegan. This one's going out to Frater Sal Smith, everyone. Esoteric Order of Dagon, Adeptus Exemptus. He's working hard on the 100-day challenge, making his way through the grades. Way of the Psionic Agent. Make sure you hit those likes. And if you like what I'm doing over here, man, why don't you go over to buymeacoffee.com, put a little something in the tip jar. Baby, get at it. Do it now. Get over there. Whew. Y'all some nerve-wracking motherfuckers. This is like playing poker with my brother's children, right? That's what it's like. Hanging out with y'all, good-looking, sexy people just getting on it. What's else?
What the hell just happened here?
I don't know.
And so
she popped the door, man. She got excited.
What's the real purpose behind this?
That's
Let's
a
ask that
premature
question.
pop
Why
right
would
there.
they fake or script something like
That's
this?
when you're so fucking excited.
Here
Oh
are the
my
deep
God,
motives
I'm coming.
layered like
I'm
an intelligence brief
shooting.
for you. Okay, now
And then
this
it's all
is
over. All that
a few different
anticipation,
theories.
all that foreplay.
Distraction. One
wasted.
from the freaking real world collapse is happening.
Right out
Trump
the end
just
of
dropped
the
125%,
Not
145% tariffs, whatever it is.
Cool.
Now I can't even keep up. Markets are shaking. China's threatening retaliation.
Oh shit, man. I've been hearing about that so much lately with the fucking Trump's ratcheted up the tariffs to like 400, 500% on the China. Right? It's all about China. Ain't nothing going on with that, man. They nobody can challenge the US, man. It's fucking they will shut you down. Like, what are these guys gonna do, right? Their whole entire economy is built on American technology. If you fuck around and find out, right? If you FAFO, like Jack's shirt there says, with his tribal tats, what's he doing with those tats? Is he hiding some childhood trauma with all that tattooage? I don't know. Some guys just like to get tats. They think it's very masculine. I think it's a little bit gay myself, but you know, who am I? Who am I to criticize, right? About being gay. Then, you know, if the US cuts you off, you can't resupply. You can't maintain the airplanes you've got. You can't maintain the technology you've got because it all wears out. That shit, you know, it's designed to fucking break down after a couple of years, and you got to keep buying parts. All right, didn't we learn that from Fight Club like years ago?
Inflation is back on the table. Wars on the horizon. They're staging the military, ready to have some kind of World War III.
That shit's been going on since I was a kid, man. My dad told me it'd been going on since he was a kid. He was born in the 1920s, fought through World War. He was at the end of World War I, fought through World War II, fought in the Korean conflict, fucking got on a battleship where the guns never stopped firing, right? That shit's been going on since day one. Ain't nothing new under the sun. ain't no fucking nothing new under the sun. Inflation, heard about that, right? Been going on my whole life. Prices going up. Pack of cigarettes used to be 25 cents, right? When they went up to $1, everybody quit smoking. So what did I do? When they went above $1, I moved to China, where they still sell them for $1, right? China, China, China. Let's see Jack, tell us something we ain't heard before. Come on now.
But what better way to distract the masses than to flash the first ever all-woman mission starring nothing more than billionaires and pop stars?
Billionaires and pop stars, but why launch them up in a big penis-shaped rocket? That's the big question. Why the flying dildo?
It's the old Roman tactic, guys. Bread and circus, or in this case, capsules and Katy Perry. This is what they do during football season. That's why you notice, like during football season or basketball,
Yeah,
March Madness,
sure.
they drop a lot of bills
March Madness.
that you wouldn't even pay attention to because you're so worried about your freaking football, gambling, all this sort of thing.
Sports betting.
So-
Is that what you guys do?
This could be a strategic event for that during that time. Now, I don't really think it's that, but it could be also, number two, normalizing elite escape culture. You're not supposed to notice it, but here's the truth. They're coordinating you to accept the fact that they'll leave you behind. This wasn't a
Ooh,
scientific
really?
mission. These were not astronauts. There was no research.
But where are they going to go, Jack? They're going to leave us behind and go where? Are they going to the moon? To do what? Is space even real, right? That's the big question for tonight's open chat, guys. Is it even fucking real? So let me know if you want to jump on and talk about space being fake, right? If so,
No payload.
let's
was
get
billionaires.
Let's get at it.
Like the bride of Jeff Bezos, Lauren Sanchez, a pop star puppet, Katy Perry, and a journalist from the Oprah sphere.
Now, I got to be honest, y'all. I like Katy Perry. They got that auto tune figured out back with Cher and her song "Believe." Right? Do you believe in life after love? After love, right? And once they figured out that auto tune, anybody could be a pop star. Now, Katy Perry, she's done some sexy videos, man. She's done the one with the lion, right, where she's roaring like a lion or a tiger or something. She's done the bananas video where she's, grabbing the bananas with the monkeys and swinging around in the jungle and shit. She's done the, she did that really nice Egyptian video, right, where she's looking sexy. And she got the hot peppers and the big black dick, right? She loves that shit, man. She gonna fucking ride it to win it. I think she's got a hot little ass. She's a good looking gal, right?
Gayla King taking a victory lap around the world, and hey, bye-bye, peasants. The subliminal message here, space is.
Did you just call me a fucking peasant, Jack? Peasant. You think you better watch your mouth, Jack. Come over there and slap that fucking. No, I won't go bother Jack. When who am I to go fucking knock dicks out of his mouth when he's working? That shit ain't cute.
It's for us, not for you. And we'll get out of here if we have to. Now, number three, it could be a psyop wrapped in feminism, which is probably a more likely scenario.
Yeah, that's the thing, the Star Wars, the Force is feminine. It's all about girl power these days, Anybody can be a girl. You want to be powerful, you get yourself a set of tits and so on and so forth. You just turn yourself into a girl. You need to smack somebody today? Good on you. Yeah, get out there and smack. No, don't do that. I never advocate violence. I don't know nothing about space either, man. I'm just speculating. I watch a lot of flat earth channels though, and I kind of think that they're probably closer to the truth than these globetards are. But I just don't know, and honestly I don't give a fuck. I mean, if something's being hidden, and 90% of the time we ain't got to figure out any of it anyway, and it's all just a waste of time. Getting on with your own life, start learning about the psionic agent angle, do some meditation, some hypnosis, get in with the magic, get in with something you can deal with. I like to think that there are the three areas of control as I've delineated in my programs here, right? And they coincide with the three great deceptions. And so if you learn something about the basic process of awareness, recognition, knowledge, and then mastery, then master those things that are important to you, like communication with your three Dantians or three elixir fields, the three holy guardian angels of the temple, right? Yeah, do something that's worthwhile for yourself. Like start to show off with the adoration of Abraxas each day and every day. Holy art thou, Lord of the universe, the vast and the mighty one, creator of heaven and earth, maker of all things visible and invisible, master of both the light and the darkness, he who was, is, and shall be. We adore thee and we invoke thee. So on and so forth. You guys know how to do it, man. I don't got to work all my ass off to fucking every goddamn day for everybody, but myself, sometimes I got to.
They disguise it as women's empowerment, but none of these women are scientists,
empowerment.
engineers. None of them built this rocket. They're celebrities and billionaires.
Yeah,
this wasn't empowerment. It was a mockery.
People. It is a mockery.
They use the don't criticize
exactly what it is.
Women shield to.
Don't you guys remember? Don't you remember that they sent a teacher to space on the Challenger back in like 1986 or something? And what happened to that flying dildo? Motherfucker just blew its load all over the goddamn sky. That's, you know, the people didn't go to fucking space, you know? These rockets, they ain't going nowhere, man. They can't abandon us. I think he's full of shit on that angle.
Deflect questions, try to criticize it, and you're labeled a misogynist, which again is a classic psyop technique, wrap deception in morality, right? Number 4, though, this is something I've seen a lot of people passing around on the internet.
Now, some have criticized Black Scout Survival as being a white supremacist, but does he even look white to you? Like, look at how dark his beard is. I'm suspicious that he's probably like Italian or something. Are like olive-skinned Italians and Greeks, are they considered white? I don't think they're Caucasian. I don't think they're from the Caucasus. Black hair like that. I know that some Irish have black hair too, but I'm a little bit suspicious that he would. I don't think he's a white supremacist because I don't even think he's white.
Is maybe, let's talk about the symbols here, because they always leave signs. The patch on the suits here, you see Katie.
Like, get a real close look at him. He looks more like a Samoan or a Hawaiian. He looks like he might be an islander, which would mean that he would have Mongoloid blood, right? Or maybe even some Asiatic blood. Sicilians. Yeah, he must be a Sicilian. Oh, they mixed with the Africans, right? Didn't the Moors like invade Sicily at one point and fuck all the women? And that's how blonde hair and blue eyes became black hair and brown eyes, according to Christopher Walken on True Romance.
Perry. This is style.
Look at that patch, man. That's the Baphomet right there. And then look it down at the bottom, 33, right? You see how the exhaust flames of the ship coming out make 33, right? NS, I wonder what that means. Is that Satan backwards, right? Satan, the 2 letters of Satan, an anagram. The blue dragon, I wonder what's going on with that, number 31. And then 33 up here at the top, 3 girls on the left, 3 girls on the right, 33. There it is there. Perry Sanchez. Ooh, you're going to get yourself a dirty Sanchez. A Bowie, he's the original star child, right? The 8-rayed star of Astarte, Astaroth, the blind idiot god at the center of the cosmos, slumbering to the thin reeling of the flute music, right? Flynn. Ooh, King. These are interesting names, right? 33 all over that bad boy.
Stylized shuttle, but it's not stylized like the shuttle that they flew on, which is weird. Why would you not have the shuttle that you were actually on? What shuttle is this? Okay. And if you flip it upside down,
there it is there. It's the pagan Baphomet, the hermaphrodite, the combination of Hermes and Ares, the black goat of the woods with 1,000 young, Dagon, the goat mermaid with the star of Saturn in his forehead. There it is. It's a perfect, it's a representation of that pagan devil god. Look at even the wings. Their heads upside down become the wings of the Baphomet. How interesting. How clever.
It looks exactly like you guessed it, Baphomet, the goat, the goat-headed deity used in occult and satanic symbolism.
Goat head
Could be
and
a
a fish
coincidence.
tail. Capricorn.
But you're telling me that $1 billion company with branding teams, NASA engineers accidentally
Astrotheology.
designed a patch that looks
Right.
like the most recognizable occult symbol in history when it's
Right.
flipped upside down.
With 33 on both sides of it. And
Please,
when
man.
it's flipped, wait a minute, when it's flipped upside down, it becomes IE. 31 becomes IESN. Sin, we've got sin, we've got Ezine, we've got what can you spell with IESN? Just Sina, right? Or sin, or Cien, or Eins, or I don't think you can really spell Satan with IESN. You guys tell me. Let
This
me know.
was not a
Work out your
symbolic
amograms.
inversion. Good becomes evil. Space becomes an illusion. Entertainment becomes a ritual. Okay. Now, number 5, it could be, and people say this far fetched, right? Let me go back to this.
No, it's not
People say this far
far-fetched at
fetched, man.
all.
They do this kind of junk just to make it so when you say something about it, you look freaking crazy.
That's got
why.
Freemasonic
Oh, dude,
energy
these
all
crazy
over it.
sentences like Baphomet. Dude, you could have. I could have got a 5-year-old to come up with a better freaking logo. Okay, it would at least
No,
look
it's
like
a
the
good-looking
spaceship they were
logo.
on.
Ain't nothing wrong with the Baphomet.
Number
Don't
5.
be a hater. What you
Public
hating on
obedience
hermaphrodites
testing.
for?
Now, this is the
What's
scary
the
end.
matter with you?
What if this entire
Androgynous
stunt
goat
was just
creatures.
a
Ain't
compliance
nothing wrong with
stress
that.
test, kind of like what they did in 2020?
It's cute.
I'm going to do a whole
I
video
like
on
it.
that, by the way.
I like a little
when we talk
33 in
about
my
the,
life.
Hokey Pokey, because that was one as well. So
What you doing with the hokey pokey? What you talking about? You trying to get me
They
banned
gave you
here
a
on
door.
YouTube?
that opens wrong. Pop star in space.
Pop star.
A billionaire with a fake tool. A cut.
Not just any pop star, one of the hottest, good looking. You see fucking Whisker Biscuit, man. That's a good looking gal from Anaheim. You got something wrong with Los Angeles?
Feed. No pressure. No realism. It didn't even look real. I mean, the damn moon.
It looked pretty fucking fake. If you guys watched the video, right? I don't think it's. I don't
landing
think it's
with
legit.
Buzz Aldrin looked more realistic than this.
No, it didn't.
And then watch to see how many people would still clap. Maybe a social compliance test. Can we show them nonsense and still make them believe it's history? If the answer is yes, then they'll push the next lie even harder, like they always do. Now, you have to look at this, the timing with the occult calendar of events. The launch happened.
It happened. When did the launch happen? A couple days ago, which is what? Ostara. Seems like it's almost Walpurgis night, right? But I don't think there's any special connection really. With the timing, doesn't seem like there's any special sacred timing going on with it. I don't know, maybe
Mid-April,
mid-April.
aligning with Passover, Christianity, you know.
Is it Passover? Is that what's going on right now? I don't know. I don't keep up with Christian holidays.
Beltane window,
I'm
the
a
occult
devil
spring ritual from
worshiper.
April 19th to May
got
1st.
demons running
Symbolically,
all through me.
they launched a group of goddess figures into the heavens.
No,
That's
I
not a
don't think
rocket
so.
mission.
Yeah,
That's a
man.
pagan revival theater disguised as a milestone.
What's wrong with reviving the pagan, just because there's a certain, timeline of things that happened doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with that. Don't be a hater. Come on, Jack, you can do better than that.
You could also look at the door In the occult, a door is symbolic. It means a passage between worlds, passage between reality and illusion. And here's the kicker. The second they faked the door open, the real illusion collapsed. The door wasn't just poorly handled. It was a message. We can fake anything, even if it's obvious. The public will still follow it whole. And that's why they wanted you to see it. Now, this wasn't a launch, guys. It was a soft launch of the new reality where the truth is curated.
Soft launch of the new reality, man. This shit's been
Symbols are
going on for a
weaponized,
long time.
and billionaires write the script.
Can you guys hear the volume
Space
okay? Is it
isn't
okay?
fake.
Can you hear
But
me?
this version of space, the Bezos version,
Wait
the
a good goddamn
influencer
minute. He
edition,
said
that's a
space
psyop,
isn't fake.
a theater
Whoops.
production, a distraction, a test, a ritual.
Whoops. What happened? I fucked it
And
up.
we were the target
Are we okay?
audience. Now,
Can you guys still
you can
see
make
the video?
your own opinion from this.
Look, it
But
did
what
it
I
again.
do know is
Look, it's going
that
crazy over
something
here.
is very fishy with this
It's really fishy.
reality where the truth is curated, symbols are weaponized,
Everything they do is fishy.
and billionaires write the scripts. Space isn't fake, but this version of space,
Oh, there, he said it right there. Did you guys hear that? He said that space isn't fake. So there's the definitive shot, bro. Guys, that's he called it, man. He said space is legit. All right, according to his fucking 2 cents.
Bezos version, the influencer edition, that's a psyop, a theater production, a distraction, a test, a ritual.
Maybe he knows something we don't know. Maybe he's been to space. Do you think that's at all possible? Might be.
And we were the target audience. Now, you can make your own opinion from this, but what I do know is that something is very fishy with this. That dog don't hunt. The door just popped open, and that the way it popped open and how easy it was, that you mean to tell me that thing flew into space? I don't think so. I don't think so. I want to know your thoughts, guys. I want you to always stay sharp, stay skeptical, and always stay frosty strapped and dangerous. Take care.
I better get that gun off the screen there. Otherwise, YouTube gonna slight me. Yeah, the door was weird. I don't know what's up with the door. I don't know a lot about it, to be honest with you. I thought it'd be fun to watch one of Jack's videos, right? Something's up with Jack. Something's up with Jack. Will we ever get him back? Have you guys been hanging out with Jack Talcott at all? Have you seen him? He kind of disappeared. It's funny. Not only did he disappear from the YouTubes, the boob tube, right? I did too. But I disappeared due to the fact that my internet isn't stable. No, that's not Jack Talcott. That was Jack something else. He's Black Scout Survival. Yeah, no, I'm playing on the word Jack, right? Because one Jack, all Jacks. Seeing one Jack reminds me of another Jack. And I'm like, something's up with Jack. Something's up with Jack.
And it is a continuum. It does
Will
not
we
stop.
ever get
when
him
we
back? Consciousness is a continuum. It doesn't ever stop. I mean, does that music bother you guys in the background? They say it fills the dead space if you stop talking. And these videos are extremely hard to make when you have to continuously talk throughout the entire thing. So sometimes I like to chill a little bit and watch somebody else say something. That's why I open it up in the ideas room. If you guys want to come on panel, then let me have it. Give me your
lose
opinion.
consciousness here. If we are not conscious here, we are conscious there. Whatever there is, I don't pretend to say what that definition of there is, but we are there. So that means very simply, when you go to sleep here, you don't lose consciousness. You just shift along the spectrum of consciousness to another kind of wakefulness.
That's right. You shift left. You shift out into the abodes. Yeah, do you? How are you watching two places?
You leave your body
Oh,
every
yeah.
single night,
Just
and
watch-
no one told
Watch the
you.
big one.
Not your teachers, not your parents, not the people who claim to
It says you leave your body every night and no one told you. Yeah, that's possible. Not every night, and some people don't do it. That's not accurate. A lot of people see there are different things that go on while you sleep. You probably know this, right? If you're out there in Happy Land and you're a hardcore member of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, right? All hail the Mother Hydra, all hail the Father Dagon. Cthulhu has arisen. Then you probably know what's going on. Number one, you just sleep. The mind fucking blanks out and you go into la la land. That's what most people that don't have much spiritual energy, that's what happens to them. Number two, the mind just works through problem solution. You know, it just goes through resolutions. It brings forward all your fears and anxieties and then nullifies them for the most part. Sometimes brings them back into the waking world with you. Then there is actual spiritual work going on. You know, some people return to the timeless homeland and visit with folks that have passed into the abodes of the beyond. Some people get up to good magic, you know, and do some astral traveling and wander through the pathways of the fathomless cavern, up through the chamber of echoes and across the great hall of mirrors, and then up the ladder of ascension into the ledge of revelation, and they get good magic done, right? But some people don't, man. Some people don't do shit while they dream, but fucking drool and fart and snore. And yeah. So.
Know how this world works. They told you sleep is just rest, a passive state,
And oftentimes it is.
a biological reset. But what if that's not true?
It's true for the most part.
What if, when your eyes close, something ancient awakens? Something that slips from flesh and bone and drifts beyond time, beyond thought, into something so vast that your waking mind can't even hold it. Because deep down, you felt it. That lingering emotion after a dream. The impossible.
Yeah, sometimes, right? Some people feel that and experience that. And for magical practitioners, especially members of Dagon, right? The esoteric order, every morning, every morning they feel this, you know, the spirits surrounding them, embracing them, caressing them, stroking, you know, down on the body and awakening the power of magic within them. Yeah. But a lot of people, they don't get it, you know, they lie like a corpse in death, and they sleep like a dead body, and they truly just blank out, man. You have to gather some chi. Yeah, gather some of that chi out of the heavens and bring it down into you, man. It ain't going to happen on its own. People think that at the moment of death, they will be released into this beautiful paradise. I'm sorry to tell you, man, for a lot of folks, it ain't going to happen. It just ain't going to happen that way. You're going to be exactly where you are whenever you move on. You just... why would you ever think that you're going to go someplace like different, that something's going to change, or that you're going to change in some way? There will be a metamorphosis, obviously. Some people will become hungry ghosts and get shit out their fucking bunghole into the lower dark ghost world, right? But some people will rise up out of the body through the head and travel on to the timeless homeland and the realms beyond. But let's see what he's got to say. I won't keep interrupting him too much, but I have to make commentary on the video, right? Otherwise, it doesn't count as a YouTube commentary video.
Places that felt more real than the ground under your feet. The sense that you've been somewhere else, and maybe, just maybe, you
That's
have.
true.
This isn't some new.
Most people do need Jesus, man. Get Jesus in your life. Jesus is the King of Kings. Jesus is your Savior. Jesus is the answer. All right, just get on your fucking hands and knees and bang your head against the ground, worshiping that idol that you've created, right? That wooden idol hanging on the cross. Holy art thou, Lord, right? Our Father who art in heaven. Whatever happened to that? Whatever happened to the Lord's Prayer? What do you need Jesus for, man? Just have Jesus in your heart. If you were a true follower of Jesus, you wouldn't be telling me to get Jesus, Kill Carl. You would be a little more kind and considerate than that. And you would start from a different angle. You'd be like, hey, have you ever thought about Jesus's sacrifice for your salvation? You know, you might ask me that. You might start gentle like Jesus would, right? Turn the other cheek. Jesus didn't come in with the bullwhip right off the bat, right off the fucking jump, right? Telling other people what he thinks they need. He came in with love and consideration and compassion and tolerance and patience, all of the things you fucking lack. So get the fuck out of here. Don't let the door hit you in your ass on the way out. I didn't ask you to come here and watch my show. The fuck's the matter with you? You need Jesus, you fucking cockbag. You bag full of fucking rotten dick tips. Come here with that horse shit.
Age fantasy.
That idolatry.
It's not just dreams or
How dare you
imagination.
blaspheme the
There's
Lord, the name
evidence,
of the Lord.
history, and science quietly whispering the same thing. Consciousness doesn't sleep, it travels. And the only question left is, where does it go?
Yeah, cut that shit.
You've been taught to see sleep as shutdown, like flipping a switch. One moment you're awake, thinking, moving, reacting. The next, darkness.
Most people need that. You know, they need the embrace of the darkness, the dark mother, you know, whether it be Lilith or Astarte or the great abyss, you know, the mysterious mother, to embrace them and relieve them, alleviate them of their concerns throughout the day and the hardship and the toil and the tiredness, you know. They need to be brought to a place of sanctuary and rest and healing. Nothing wrong with that. Let's get in this video a little more.
Silence. The nothingness before another day begins. That's the lie. Because while your body stills,
It's not necessarily a lie. Let's take it easy on fucking the doctrine and the dogma, right? And overbearing on people and telling people what things are and are not. According to the ancient Hermetic teachings, right? The Hermetic orders, we can't necessarily teach what is, but we can teach what things are not, right? We can say it's definitely not that. But saying what it is a very dangerous game, right? You're playing a dangerous game. You're creating a facade. And, you know, there's a face that you wear in the cold light of day. It's society's mask. It's society's way. But the truth is that it's all a facade. Man is not one but two. He is evil and good. And he walks the fine line that he'd cross if he could. It's a nightmare. We can never discard, so we stay on our guard, though we love the facade. What's behind the facade? Yeah, let's see what they got to say.
something else accelerates. The brain doesn't turn off during sleep. It becomes highly active. In fact, some areas of your brain light up more during sleep than when you're awake.
And you know what really lights up the brain? According to neuroscience, and a lot of research has been put into this in the realm of psychology, is that the thing that stimulates the human brain more than anything else, more than drugs, more than sex, more than qigong, more than meditation, one key thing. Do you know what it is? You guys put it in the fucking ideas room if you know what it is. I'll reveal it to you in 3. Take a deep breath. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Command yourself to relax. Do you guys know what it is? It's gossip. Gossip stimulates the brain more than anything else. It fires up and it lights up all areas of the brain. Monkeys do it. People do it. The only cognitive creatures, sentient creatures in the human brain fucking talking about other people, right? And trying to make the connections about, like, how are they perceiving me as I describe this other person, and how would this other person just perceive if they find out, right? It's so fucking exciting. And you know who capitalized on it better than anyone else? Jerry Springer. He was the fucking absolute mastermind, and he did it for 25 years. The Jerry Springer show ran for like 25 fucking years, man, and everybody loved it, and they still fucking love it. Jenny Jones, yeah, that fucking Judge Judy, right? the Oprah show, right? All of it, man. That's what it capitalizes on. It capitalizes on when you're fucking listening to gossip and engaging in intrigue, your brain is firing 1,000 fucking miles a minute, man. It's just
but not the parts that govern
unbelievably
logic,
gratifying.
schedules, and order. Those
Like I
go
said,
quiet.
it's better than
Instead,
sex.
the visual cortex ignites. Emotional centers flare. The mind starts to move in ways it never could during the day.
Like when Queen Stephanie of the Insanity Machine, that's his entire angle. He's trying to figure out, he's like, how do I fucking get people interested in my Canadian accent and the fact that I never cam up, you know, and that I'm really actually an ugly, fat, middle-aged dude with nothing going for me, right? Maybe if I can reel them in with the gossip, right? Now that's what the whole fucking panel verse is all about, right? Yeah, I know.
You're
you
no
love
longer
him.
just processing, you're experiencing.
I know you.
The question
Don't
is,
consider yourself
what
a member of his
exactly
harem, right?
are you
can't be in two
experiencing?
harems
In
at once.
REM sleep, the stage where dreams are most vivid, your body enters paralysis. Muscles are switched off. You
Do
couldn't
they really?
move even if
Give
you
me a
wanted
second,
to,
guys. I'll be
but
right back.
internally, everything is alive. It's as if nature is saying, you're not meant to move physically now, you're meant to move elsewhere.
That's
Where
right.
is this elsewhere?
The
Is it
realms
just fantasy?
beyond.
Just the random firing of neurons? That's what we've been
No.
told. But the
It's
more
the
you look,
fathomless
the less sense
power.
that explanation makes. Why would
Beyond
evolution
the
design a
veil.
nightly experience filled with emotion, narrative, symbolism, and entire realities,
Power.
just for it to mean nothing? And here's where things get strange. Brain
What happened,
scans
Callie?
show
Callie escaped?
the sleeping mind behaves almost identically to the mind under the influence of powerful psychedelics. Substances like DMT, known for unlocking visionary states,
Here's where I would caution you guys, man. I would say that in general, alcohol and drugs and all of these things that overstimulate the mind, they might be a temporary like shortcut, but it could never replace long-term cultivation. You need to work on your meditation, or you could do whatever the fuck you want. You could do you, right? But I would say that it's a more holistic path to engage in spiritual cultivation, philosophical inquiry, scientific documentation, right? Like the scientific method, magical journaling, dream journaling, and then trying to do these things through natural means like deep breathing and massage and spas, even a deprivation tank or whatever. Far better investments. The magical circle, a bonfire, a campfire, burning incense, striking bells and gongs, doing mantras and da 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 da, is probably a better, healthier way to get it done. But at the same time, right? Some people love taking psychedelic mushrooms. Nothing wrong with that. The guy who wrote the greatest science fiction novel of all times, right? Sold 20 million copies. Frank Herbert of Dune. He used psychedelic mushrooms to get through writer's block like regularly. And it's where he came up with the idea for the spice melange, right? On the planet Arrakis with Paul Atreides, the Kwisatz Haderach, right? And his beautiful mother, Jessica, the Bene Gesserit witch. A very wonderful set of tales there.
spiritual breakthroughs, even contact with otherworldly entities, are also released naturally by your brain.
That's
You
right.
don't have to smoke anything
You
or
don't.
attend a ceremony. You simply
Well,
have to
you
fall
should.
asleep.
You
So
should
maybe
attend
dreams
ceremonies.
aren't just mental recycling bins. Maybe they're windows, portals, shifting doorways that allow your consciousness to slip through, untethered from physical form. Some scientists resist this idea, not because of lack of evidence, but because it defies the story they've built around the brain.
Right. It defies that story of scientific materialism, right? So for so many scientists these days, and just for everyone in general, they've got this science is the new religion, and it's not even good science. Like Science isn't written in stone. It's a process, right? It's an ongoing process of discovery. George Washington, the founding Freemason of the United States of America, you know, hail unto the Father Dagon, all about the pagan gods. You know, have you ever seen the apotheosis of George Washington? He's got himself surrounded by the zodiac. He's got 12 sentient divine beings around him as he rises to the position of 13, right? The 13 colonies, the 13 stars, the 13 zodiacs, all of these. And what does 13 point to? It's the major arcana trump card of death, the metamorphosis, right? So these guys knew what was fucking going on. And they had this shit figured out early on, early in the game, 200 years ago. And the Chinese sages, they figured it out 2,000 years ago, even earlier. The Sumerians, the ancient Sumerians, 20,000 years ago, they had this shit figured out. So it's nothing new under the sun.
That it's the origin of consciousness, not just a receiver of it. But growing voices in neuroscience and quantum studies suggest something far more radical. Your mind may exist beyond your brain, and your dreams may be echoes of this deeper truth.
Yeah, that's a big thing right there, man. Take that in for a moment. You know, your mind exists beyond the physical body. Consciousness is non-local, but it's localized too, as well. You know, you can't have one without the other. It's the great Taiji Tu symbol, the yin yang, right? The physical embracing the spiritual, the feminine embracing the masculine, right? It's goes both ways.
It's in these liminal hours, when thought becomes vision and vision becomes experience, that the body becomes a shell and something more subtle steps out. You may call it awareness, spirit, soul, or simply you. But it moves, it sees, it remembers things your waking mind has no words for.
Yeah, not only that, it creates, right? It creates entire worlds. It does world building. You can fly. You could penetrate into the depths of the earth. You can go into the sun. You can go out into the vast reaches of the cosmos. You can go deep within the human body. You can communicate with other astral beings. You can even touch ghosts and spirits and go beyond to the celestial palace of the gods. You can go to the timeless homeland, the invisible college, the fathomless cavern. There are all kinds of destinations in Dreamland. The ice cold plain of Lang. There's fun stuff going on out there in Dreamland, guys. That's why we explore it so often here on the Frank Monday channel. And with that said, y'all good looking sexy people, gots to tune in and check it out on the regular. This is Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, your friend and well-wisher, Frank Monday, coming at you once again like Finnegan. So if you've got a yen to expand your kin, then let's get zen. And everybody give out a shout out to old Freighter Sal Smith, Adeptus Exemptus of the Esoteric Order of Dagon. He's doing really good with the 100-day challenge. He's getting in touch with me behind the scenes, and he's working on the pathways of the psionic agent. So make sure you hit the like button for him and leave a comment. And check me out on buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. And that'll help get it done, guys. That'll help put the lead in my pencil, the jelly in my donut, and the pep in my step, right? And with all of that, then what happens, you know? Yeah, good magic gets done. That's right. And I keep my nose to the grindstone. I keep rolling with the punches. I keep coming back here to the boob tube, the YouTube for UEU and UNU, and all the U's out there in Happy Land. And we fucking get shit done, motherfucker.
And what's even more unsettling, this might be the most natural thing about you. What's unnatural is forgetting it. There are some things I can't say here, but we go far deeper inside our free newsletter, Insights Academy.
It's not actually unnatural to forget. Like, most of the deep spiritual work, if you're doing any at all in Dreamland, is not meant for your waking consciousness, because your waking consciousness doesn't get it, right? It is coming up from the superconscious into the unconscious, and then up through the subconscious, and then bubbling up around you in the prime material plane. And the critical factor, the guardian at the gate, Karanzan 333, the critical factor, if your attention point hasn't shifted, you're not supposed to remember very much from dreamland, because your average everyday analytical discriminating intelligence, your intellectual mind can't get it, and you can't articulate it anyway. So what's the point in bringing forward all this high level spiritual knowledge to the uninitiated, right? The initiates get it, and people who that are suspicious and have intuition and follow the golden light to the source, they're going to get it, and they're going to get all the teaching and documentation that they need. But the average everyday individuals, right? What are we told? Not to cast our pearls before the swine, right? Not to, you might get out there and mix in the dirt and the mud with the average everyday world in the colored dust, but don't let it stain you so much that you don't know how to get back home to a more spiritual place in your life.
You'll even get a digital copy of the Kybalion, but only for a limited time. Links in the description. If you've ever woken up from a dream and felt the sting,
I got to tell you though, their digital copy of the Kybalion is actually pretty good, so you might want to check it out.
Of leaving somewhere, felt loss or wonder or awe, you've already touched this truth. Something in you already knows this world is just one layer. It's the one we're trained to take seriously.
Now, not everybody does, right? Like some people don't know this reality, right? That it's like the layers of an onion, and they see the face, and they think that's everything, right? They love the facade, and there's more. What's behind the facade, right? You got to get with it, guys, man. That's not everything that's going on. You can't just always the finger pointing at the moon, right? Don't look at the finger, look at the moon.
Because it's measurable, physical, but consciousness doesn't care about that. It doesn't need buildings, clocks, or language. It just needs stillness. The body rests, and the door opens, not outward, but inward. And what lies there is not the absence of awareness, it's the return to it.
Yeah. That's a fact right there, guys. I mean, take that seriously. That when you're able to let the body sit in stillness, right? So that's why in the way of the psionic agent, let me check the chats here, guys. Make sure everybody's doing okay out there in Happy Land. Y'all good looking, sexy motherfuckers. Keep on keeping on. When you're in the 100-day challenge, the first 10-day is to keep the body still without falling asleep. And that's all you need focus on. 10 minutes a day for 10 days. Just keeping the body in good, still posture. And you can do it reclining or sitting or standing or walking, but to focus on with the volantia, with the unperturbed, consistent will to just keep the body in stillness. So very few people can do that these days, right? They're so taken in with everything that's going on around them that they really can't break free from the matrix with even that very simple initiation in a 10-day. If you've done that, if you kept the body still for 10 minutes a day at the same time every day for 10 days, then you can move on to step 2, right? To the second 10-day, which we could talk about in more depth as we go forward. I'm already in week 3, guys, man. I'm working on the third 10-day. I'm about to get through it. I hope you guys can keep up with me in the syllabus. You can find that syllabus on buymeacoffee.com. It's there for free as a gift of love to the public.
There's a molecule inside your brain that activates when the lights go out, when your body falls still and your mind begins to drift. It's called DMT.
And it activates too when you just sit in stillness, close your eyes, and engage in deep breathing. And when it releases, man, when you finally figured it out and you can release it, wow, what a fucking mind expanding experience. And you don't need to smoke DMT or take ayahuasca or eat fucking psychedelic mushrooms. You can do it naturally. And it's very simple to achieve. But so many people are busy with the day-to-day world and getting involved in the colored dust. You know, they're living life. They got shit to do. They got a job to fucking go to. You know, they got a family to feed, whatever, this, that, and the other thing. You know, they're homeless. They're on the street. Actually, homeless people probably experience it more than anyone else. But then they get involved in drugs and alcohol and chasing the dragon, right? Riding the fucking dragon. Don't do that, man.
Dimethyltryptamine, often referred to as the spirit molecule. It's one of the most powerful psychedelics known to man. When ingested synthetically, it launches people into visions so vivid, so otherworldly, that many return claiming they visited entirely different realms, met entities, and experienced time in ways that defy logic. But here's the part almost no one talks about. Your body creates this chemical naturally, and it surges during sleep. The pineal gland, long called the seat of the soul by mystics and spiritual traditions, produces small amounts of DMT, especially during REM sleep. This isn't speculation. It's been verified by researchers. But what's less clear is why.
Yeah, here's an interesting thing. I was listening to a Howard Philip Lovecraft tale recently. Read it, taught it in class a little bit. As some of you may know, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I work as basically a high school teacher. I teach an AP Lit class and I teach regular English classes, that kind of happy horse shit, you know, just a day job to pay the bills. But as I was taking them through the classic literary movements, yeah, and I went from romanticism, and we're transitioning into realism. But in getting from romanticism to realism, there's a lot you got to go through. You know, you got to reflect on the Enlightenment, of course, but then you have to go through transcendentalism and regionalism, and horror, right? Gothic horror. And so within romanticism, we have Gothic horror, and then horror will transition into more modern day horror, what Lovecraft pioneered, which was cosmic horror. And so Lovecraft wrote a tale pretty early on. I think he was like 19 or 20 or something when he wrote it. So he was a dreamer. He was big into dreaming, man. And yeah, we got into the Harlem Renaissance a little bit, but when we were in the horror stage and we were moving into cosmic horror, there's a tale called From Beyond. And that guy delineated all this shit, man. Like, so much of what we see today is Lovecraft already said it. And due to the fact that his material is in the public domain, that's why so many people reference it. And it was literally almost entirely unknown when I started researching it about 15 years ago now. And when I started researching Western stuff after having been in China for a decade, I noticed that everyone in the West started looking at it again, you know? And I didn't notice that until a little bit later on. But yeah, everyone started getting back into it again. And all of those threads started coming together. And I thought, they're late to the game, man. I've been in it to win it for a long time now. But let's keep looking.
Why would the brain generate a substance capable of transporting consciousness into hyper-real states, complete with architecture, communication, and emotion during the time it's supposed to be resting? The answer might be this: because sleep isn't rest, it's travel. When DMT floods the brain at night, it doesn't just create dreams, it opens the gateway.
Here's the thing I would caution, though. So many people that get involved with Gnosticism get involved with the nihilistic aspect of it, and the soul trap, and the all of the horse shit, the Demigorgon, you know, and they try to kind of mislabel things. And Gnosticism has a tendency to end in nihilism with what was the Nietzsche guy and so many others, Jean-Paul Sartre and his existentialism, and all these things start tying in together to like this dark realm of ultimate disintegration of the soul. And I would caution that that's not the end result of these practices. Yeah, the end result is spiritual freedom and reunion with your immortal soul. And these guys, they were disenchanted, and maybe they overdid it with the drugs, maybe they overdid it with other things, but yeah, they got to a point where they all were dead, you know, in their at middle age, many of them in their 40s, some of them made it into their 50s. But I really can't trust people who die that young. Honestly, like they've made deep spiritual. Here's the other thing too: when you bring back too much from the world beyond, like Lovecraft and Edgar Allan Poe and this other guy, you know, so on and so forth, you know, just quote their fucking names as polishing their goddamn shoes. Freud, right? Who lived longer, Freud or Jung, right? What did Carl Jung say? You ask me if I believe in God. I don't need to believe in God. I know God, right? So many of these people that get cut down halfway, it's because they pull back, they pull in too much information from the world beyond. And that's why the critical factor of the mind, Karanzan 333, blocks that information from coming into your waking state, because it ekes away at your physical health. And if you bring a lot back over a short period of time, it will ultimately kill you. And I knew that through my explorations and going into dreamland and bringing back spiritual gems and golden coins and golden nuggets and all of this, I knew that it could ultimately end me as well. And I thought, fuck, at some point you've got to shut up. You've got to stop telling people, because that's why there's an initiation process. Because these things are not meant to be known by the masses. And to some extent, I would say throw off the shackles of the prohibitions of being silent. And it's, you know, they say to know, to dare, and to be silent. But at the same time, we do have to put out we've got to put something out for the general public so that they know there's a way to get beyond the everyday commonplace, you know. And I could pull it up for you guys here. What did Lovecraft say? There is no new horror that can be more terrible than the daily torture.
Real visions, those landscapes that seem more alive than anything you've touched in waking life. They may not be dreams at all. They might be experiences, states of being, places your consciousness goes when unburdened by the body. Think about it. When you dream, you're not just watching, you're inside it. You feel, move, react. You experience entire lifetimes in moments. And you often wake up with a feeling that refuses to fade. That's not random. That's the resonance. Psychedelic researchers have found eerie overlaps between people who take DMT and those who describe intense dream experiences.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. When DMT came on to the scene, right, with the ayahuasca, and it all rides on the heels of the old hippie movement, the Grateful Dead, and someone showed me a really lovely video. I forgot exactly where it is. Ripple, right, and it had all the tarot symbology throughout the video. Very, very lovely thing. Brought forward. I think that was Special K who brought that forward. I posted a link on my page in the community section of my Frank Monday page here on YouTube, guys. And don't forget, guys, it's what it's all about. You know, you got to offer up some support here on YouTube for your Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, Frank Monday, here working hard in the Central Kingdom of the Celestial Dragon. We got to give a little shout out to Frater Sal Smith, having achieved the level of Adeptus Exemptus in the Order, right, on the 100-day challenge, Way of the Psionic Agent. Check out the syllabus, guys, over at buymeacoffee.com/Frank Money. It's the last post I made on the Buy Me a Coffee page. You can check it out there. It's got a whole work list for you to get everything done. Hit the like tabs, the like button, touch it, poke at it, feel it, gently push it, right? You can rub it, you can stroke it, you can even squeeze it. But get in there and make it happen, man. That like button that keeps the old algobots barking like Pavlov's dog for everyone here on the YouTube, because we're all you, right? What did old Jean-Paul Sartre teach us about existentialism? And he said, "Hey man, I heard you fucking live streaming in here." He's like, "Take it easy. You're disturbing your neighbors." I'm like, "Motherfucker, I paid for this room. I paid money. I paid big money for this room. I should be able to enjoy myself." But yeah, he said 10 o'clock. It's got to be lights out. Shh. So if you can hear me okay, let me know, and I won't have to shout into the fucking microphone, right?
It's one of the most powerful psychedelics known to man. When ingested synthetically, it launches people into vision. As he delved deeper, Monroe developed audio frequency modern understanding. Monroe his body, not metaphorically.
Sorry guys, I fucked up and hit the fucking scroll on the video and just totally lost
Powerful,
that place.
so emotionally
That's
raw,
okay. We'll
is
just
because
pick
they're
up
not
right here.
happening in your head, they're happening in your being. This isn't just a theory. It's a thread running through ancient wisdom and modern neuroscience alike. When you sleep, your brain doesn't just rest. It releases a key, a molecular invitation to explore the infinite. And while scientists debate its purpose, your consciousness already knows. It steps through the door every night, slipping quietly into the mystery beyond thought, beyond form. The only mystery left is how much of it you're ready to remember.
Yeah, was I silenced that whole time? Could you guys even hear me? I don't
Before
know.
science dared to entertain the idea that consciousness could exist beyond the brain, one man stepped into the unknown and came back with maps. His name was Robert Monroe.
I would argue, and I would say that the man who stepped into the unknown and came back with maps was H.P. Lovecraft.
Your consciousness already knows. It steps through the door every night, slipping quietly into the mystery beyond thought, beyond form. The only mystery left is how much of it you're ready to remember.
Not how much of it you're ready to remember, how much of it you're allowed to remember. If you haven't initiated past the guardian at the threshold, right, the lurker at the threshold, the shambler from the stars. All hail the Father Dagon. All hail the Mother Hydra. Cthulhu has risen, right? If you haven't been initiated, it's not about how much you're able to remember. It's how much you're allowed to remember.
Before science dared to entertain the idea that consciousness could exist beyond the brain, one man stepped into the unknown and came back with maps.
That man was H.P. Lovecraft. He's the one that got it done, man. He did all the original work back in, when was the motherfucker born? He was born before the 1900s, and he lived only until like the 1930s. He only lived to 40. And before him, it was Edgar Allan Poe who walked the dark pathways, right? And brought back all the info. These guys knew what was up.
His name was Robert Monroe.
But
In the
Robert
1950s,
he made a
Monroe wasn't a
contribution
mystic
as well.
or a guru. He was a successful businessman, a logical thinker, deeply grounded in the material world. But then, something happened that shattered his understanding of reality. He began to leave his body. Not metaphorically, literally.
And yeah, it's the poets and the artists. They've been bringing, and the philosophers, right? They've been bringing back this information for a long, long time. You know, he wasn't the first one to bring back roadmaps, but he was the first one to capitalize on it. And that's the big difference, right? It started off with, right? He's a businessman. He knew how to fucking sell things. So he could sell a technique and a method which should not be sold. The methods and the techniques should be learned and discovered, but they should not be marketed. I think that's the big misstep there.
Night after night, Monroe found himself hovering above his physical form, moving through walls, observing his sleeping body from the outside. At first, he thought he was losing his mind, but the experiences were too vivid, too consistent, too real to be dismissed. So he did what most people wouldn't. He studied it. He documented everything, every shift in perception, every technique that triggered the experience, every location he traveled to while untethered from the body. And what he discovered would shake the foundations of modern understanding. Monroe realized he wasn't alone. Others were doing it too, some spontaneously, some through ancient practices. And all of them were describing similar experiences, a conscious separation from the physical body, movement through non-physical dimensions.
Yeah, guys. So if you check the chat window, the what I call the ideas room, right? I got that from Black Journalist, Dark Journalist. Sorry, not black. He's not black. He's not a Negro. He's a white man, but he's got black hair, so he might have some eggplant in him. He's the one that would always call this the ideas room, and I think it's a good name for it, right? But yeah, so I posted the link here, guys, if you want to join. After we finish this video, then we're gonna end the show unless someone wants to come on panel and start a panel. And I know it's bad timing for you guys because it's first thing in the morning and you might not have your makeup on and that sort of thing and so on and so forth. But yeah, I got it in there. And if anybody jumps on, we'll keep the show going. Otherwise, we're gonna call it quits and then go backstage for a while. And yeah, so there it is there. Additionally, StreamYard has got this new thing. They say that if you're new to streaming and you're looking to level up, then you take out StreamYard and get a $10 discount, which isn't much, because I think even their basic package is like $25 a month now or something. So it's $10 off your first month, I guess. And you can hit that link and yeah, that'll make it happen for you.
And contact with intelligences that didn't resemble anything found in our waking world. Monroe called it the out-of-body experience, or OBE for short. He didn't claim it was a dream. He didn't claim it was imagination. He experienced it as real, often more real than waking life. The detail, the clarity, the emotional intensity.
Yeah, see, that's something there, right? Like, think about that. That it's actually a super sensual realm. I'll tell you about an experience I had recently with a young student. I mean, when I say young, they're seniors, right? So most of them are 17, 18, and some of them 19. Fuck, last year I had a guy that was 20 in my class. And he used to always like whip out a pack of cigarettes in class and be like, "Hey, you want a cigarette?" And I'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing? Trying to get me fired?" Anyways, I'm glad he finally graduated. Maybe he was 20, maybe he was 22. But when you're 22 and you're still hanging around pretending to be a student in high school, that's a little bit much. You know, move on, go hang out at the university. You know, that's where you belong at that age. But anyway, point being, I had a really in-depth spiritual conversation with a young student. And again, when I say young, I mean adult. But I was describing the experience of what's called the mystic moment in Chinese Tao. Like, you practice for a long time, Qigong and meditation, and you think, fuck, when's it going to happen? You know, is there going to be any changes? And then things start to align. There's moments of synchronicity, and you see this golden light leading you forward. And if you follow it with your intuition, then you get involved in a sort of time dilation where time starts to shift. And a subtle a change in the subtle environment occurs, and suddenly you're thrown into the dreaming world, the world that you experience every night while you dream, and it surrounds you, and things will form and transform, and they become super sensual. That's what Rudolf Steiner called it. And it's like they just described in the video here, right? It's let's see, how do they describe it? It's
modern understanding. Monroe realized he wasn't alone. Others were doing it too, some spontaneously, some through ancient practices. And all of them were describing similar experiences: a conscious separation from the physical body, movement through non-physical
yeah, movement through non-Euclidean spaces, right? The spaces that surround us, the angles that seem obtuse but are actually convex, and doors appear within these spaces, and you move between these things. And the next part of it is really important, what he said here.
dimensions and contact with intelligences that didn't resemble anything found in our waking world.
These intelligences, right? They documented them. King Solomon in the Lemegeton, the Goetia, right? 72 spirits of the brass vessel. And then their counterparts, the 72 demonic spirits and the 72 angelic spirits, what the Hebrews called the Shemham Epharash, right? These things are real. They're and now Crowley and Rigardi and Freud and Jung, they all said it's just aspects of the mind, but that's discounting it quite a bit. It's much more than that, right? These are entities and intelligences that exist outside of us as well as within us, right? As above, so below, as within, so without.
Monroe called it the out-of-body experience, or OBE for short. He didn't claim it was a dream. He didn't claim it was imagination. He experienced it as real, often more real than waking life. The detail, the clarity, the emotional
There's the thing there. That's what I wanted to point out, right? The emotional intensity. And it's not just emotional. Emotional is deeply rooted in the organs. It's a spiritual experience. Again, what in Taoism they call the mystic moment. So the Tao is beyond description. It's intangible. It's invisible, right? It's ungraspable. But in the mystic moment, you can see it, you can hear it, and you can feel it. And that's what I was describing to this young student. And suddenly, when I was describing it at this point, everything shifted. The entire room became dark and filled with like a smoky fog, and everything looked like a ghost realm. And I said, you can see it now, can't you? That this is just a ghost realm in comparison to the real truth, to the reality of spiritual immortality. And she lit up like a fucking Christmas tree. She's like, oh my God, it's amazing. Everything became like monotone and in a like a dull, ghostly pattern. Like you could just see it. There was like literally smog in the room, and everything shifted. And what had, prior to that had seemed like a more realistic setting that we were in. You know, it's a classroom, there's desks and this kind of thing. And I'm sitting there and I'm discussing these ideas with young students. And then it shifted. And it was very, very obvious how illusory the prime material plane, this waking realm, is in comparison to our timeless homeland, to the realm beyond, where everything is vibrant and pulsating and immortal. You know, Plato talked about it with his realm of preforms, and Socrates pointed at it, you know, in the teachings of Anaxagoras and stuff. And it's all back to what they call Plato's cave, right? It was so obvious and so apparent. And it wasn't just a shift in me, right? It was a shift in the entire student body that was present for that lecture, which is good magic. You know, that's really, really good fucking magic. And that was a lecture outside of the other lectures that I was forced to give that were also very good, you know, and I got high praise for them. But you know, that's a part of the job. You got to do your best. You know, always put your best foot forward.
Intensity. It surpassed anything the physical senses could provide, and it always started the same way, in the borderlands of sleep. As he delved deeper, Monroe developed audio frequencies, later known as hemi-sync, that helped induce these states intentionally.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I had myself muted and I just gave a nice, lovely rant. I think it was about a minute and a half long, and you missed it. So I guess the spirits prevented me from talking shit. So good magic on that one. I'll let the video continue. Sad. Yeah, don't laugh at me. How dare you?
He founded the Monroe Institute, where thousands of people reported leaving their bodies, traveling to distant realms, and returning with similar stories of peace,
I'm
of
actually
learning,
kinda,
of something
lucky
beyond.
that
He
last
spoke
little
of different
rant
locales of
was
consciousness,
muted.
layers of reality not
'Cause I
visible
was
to the
talking
eye,
some real shit
but
right there.
accessible through focused awareness. To some, this sounded like science fiction, but to those who experienced it, it was undeniable. And here's the most unnerving part. Monroe's experiences often began during sleep. That liminal zone between waking and dreaming, where thought blurs and the body relaxes. That's when the door opened.
Yeah, and that's the thing right there, guys. It's that you don't want to get so relaxed that you fall asleep, right? But it's about that relaxed state. So take a deep breath, right? Inhale. Hold it for 3, 2, 1, and then just let go of all of it, man. Let go of all that fucking tension, right? Let go of your anxiety. Let go of your inhibitions. Let go of the darkness. Let it flood out of you back into the earth, right? Turn your eyes up towards the heavens, the starry cosmos. Pull in the cosmic particle. Let it awaken and enlighten you. Fill you with the spirit. And realize that it's a cooperation between the heaven and earth, right? Where man and woman appear in their endless dance, their immortal dance, the grim fandango, as it were. And yeah, just get with it, man. What did Alan Watts used to say? He said, flow with it. Be like water, my friend. You know, Alan Watts was saying that long before Bruce Lee said it. But I think the fact that people appreciated Bruce Lee saying it because it comes from the Tao Te Ching, right? And so it's Lao Tzu's teaching. And they're like, yeah, you know, a Chinese person, it's a little better if don't culturally appropriate too much Alan Watts. But who can who can discredit Alan Watts? He came over here, you know, he hung out with the Buddhas and the Swamis, and he did the good work that was required. And he brought it forth in the English language, probably more articulate than anybody else could. Him and Thomas Cleary really bridged the gap. They brought forward Zen and Taoism to the Western people like nobody else could, you know. And when you're following in on their heels, I mean, there's nothing left to do really. They made it so obvious. I mean, check out Harvard University's Shambhala editions of Thomas Cleary and Alan Watts and all the great talks that he gave. And so many greats have gone before that, there's really nothing left for us to say. Maybe we can reiterate what they said, we can bring it forward for a new audience. But yeah, they did the great work, man.
He wasn't hallucinating, he was navigating consciousness, unbound from flesh, exploring a larger reality. What Monroe discovered is echoed in ancient practices like astral projection, yogic sleep, and indigenous dream walking. The difference is,
And I would add to that, there's a certain ancient practice that I did an entire 100-day challenge on a way back. You can check the archives here on the Frank Monday channel, but it's called the Sleep of Sialam. I think that's what it's called. And I discovered that because of studying The Silver Key by Lovecraft. Lovecraft has two works that he did. One's called just The Silver Key, and the second one is called The Gate of the Silver Key. And both of those have a Indian guru in them called Swandra Shamakutra or something. I forget his name exactly. Anyway, you'll have to look it up yourself. But he talks about the sleep of Sialam, and it was a practice that they used. And yeah, you can research it on your own. I already did a 100-day challenge on it, so you can check the material.
he didn't stumble on it through mysticism. He approached it as data. He measured, repeated, tested, and the patterns were too clear to ignore. Monroe's work points to something radical.
I think this is an important aspect of it, that we have to approach these things in a scientific manner. You can't be entirely scientific. Obviously, you have to be artistic as well and use intuition, but you should do some good documentation in your work.
Your nightly descent into sleep might not be a retreat. It might be a return, a re-entry into the part of you that isn't confined by the brain or the skin, a return to the non-physical spaces where consciousness originates, not just where it visits. And what he found aligns with what thousands of people report during sleep, near-death experiences, and deep meditation, that we are more than our bodies, and sleep is the veil we pass through to remember that. So when you close your eyes tonight,
Yeah, it's called the Wall of Sleep. There's an entire dream journeys excursion within Lovecraft. One of those is the Wall of Sleep. You might want to listen to that one tonight as you go to sleep and find out a little more about Randolph Carter and Swami Chandrapukra. That's his name. The Swami Chandrapukra.
understand this. What you call sleep might be Monroe's departure, that floating feeling just before you drift off, that disconnection. It's not your imagination. It's the beginning of separation. You don't have to believe it. Just observe. Ask yourself who is watching the dreams. Ask yourself who returns when the body wakes. Then ask yourself if that part of you ever truly left.
That's right. That's the thing too. You don't have to believe it. So many people talk about belief. In fact, the young student that I was having a discussion with, they asked me directly. They said, "Do you believe in God?" And I was like, "That's a dangerous thing." In fact, I'll tell you guys a story. About 10 years ago, I was working for a training center here in Beijing, and a manager had found out that I was having spiritual discussions with students, because one of them was like a hardcore atheist or something, and they turned me in. And I've never promoted the belief in God In fact, anytime I've been asked this question, I say, no, I don't believe in God, because I don't. I know God. And I've been saying this for years now. My first near-death experience, where I had a alcohol poisoning, and I literally died in the hospital due to alcohol poisoning, and then was revived. They had to use the paddles on me because I was dead, and then they put an IV in me and they try to wash out. But I had poisoned myself to the level of death, and I went beyond the veil. And so it was a, what they call a near-death experience, but it was a legitimate death experience. I think I was dead for 3 minutes. And so I'm not a believer in God, guys. There's a huge difference between knowing God and believing in God. The average individual who believes in God is a fool, and I would never promote a arbitrary belief in God. You got to get there. You got to get beyond the veil, and sometimes that requires death, and sometimes it requires multiple deaths while living in order to do it. I don't recommend that path for the average individual, of course, but yeah. So I'm always very wary when I'm asked that question or presented, because here in a non-religious, atheistic, scientific, materialistic country, you can't espouse beliefs in God. And again, I don't, and I don't recommend it for anyone. I think you need to find out and learn to know God.
You've done it before, slipped through, moved beyond the walls of this waking world, and found yourself somewhere else entirely. A forest with no name, a city that doesn't exist, a face you've never seen, but somehow know. The light is different there. Time bends. You speak without speaking. You remember things you've never lived. And when you wake up, it haunts you, not with fear, but with a feeling you can't shake. That was real. And maybe it was. Lucid dreaming is the gateway that proves it. When you become conscious inside a dream, when you realize I'm dreaming, something remarkable happens.
Yeah, let's hear about it. I call this process, now, if you really want to get there and you want to learn to make these breakthroughs powerfully, yeah, we'll talk about it privately. Priestess of the Order. Yeah. If you really want to get there, I recommend whoever's listening, whether whenever you're receiving this transmission, whoever you are, wherever you are, and whenever you receive this transmission, read Robert Anton Wilson's Prometheus Rising. In that book, now this is the first time I've said this on a live transmission. In that book, in chapter 1, there's an exercise at the end of the chapter, end of chapter 1, Prometheus Rising, for finding a quarter. Now, a quarter is a US 25-cent coin, and he's got an entire series of exercises on how to manifest a quarter in this realm. So go about looking for the quarter and do the exercise. But here's the thing: do that for some other item within dreamland and try to grab it while you're lucid dreaming, and then wake yourself up and see if you can apport it into the prime material plane. So I call this exercise, this activity, and I've done it, and that's the reason I'm telling you guys to try and do it. You try to bring back something you truly desire in your hands from dreamland. So you got to get into dreamland. You've got to become lucid while in dreamland. Then you have to manifest the item you want, and then you have to fucking grab it with both hands and wake yourself up so that you can bring it back. Yeah, so that's the thing right there. When you can do that, you fucking give me a call and let me know, and you'll be ready for the next exercise, because I've got a few of these. I've got like half a dozen exercises that I've done that generate genuine spiritual results in this prime material plane. Another one is manifesting plasma orbs, right? That's a fun one. Drawing down lightning and striking something with it based purely on intent. That's another one. And I could tell you more, but I'm not going to, because these are secret practices that I've discovered. And then later, other magicians confirm to me that they're genuine, like magical talents, and that they're one of the they're 18 signs that you're on the pathway of the magician. And I'd like to share them with you, but we can't do it on live television, right? Obviously, we have to do it off the air. So yeah, good magic right here.
You gain agency in a world built by your own mind, or perhaps something much bigger. You can fly, walk through walls, and change your surroundings.
But can you bring back the golden coin from Dreamland? That's the big question.
But even more profound than the control is the clarity. Colors are sharper, emotions deeper, awareness expanded. It's not like watching a movie. It's like waking up within a different reality.
Yeah, that's so true. That's why, again, Rudolf Steiner called it the supersensual realms.
And many who practice lucid dreaming don't stop there. They report being able to leave the dream entirely and enter what they call astral space.
Yeah, no, we'll get into different things, right? He's mapping out Dreamland. So we've got the astral realm, we've got Dreamland, and then we have the timeless homeland. These are all separate things. Then we have the celestial realm. This is something different too, the infernal realm. And then what Robert, was it Robert Blake, the guy who wrote Astral Dynamics? He brought forward a new understanding of this reality. So Astral Dynamics by Robert, I think it's Robert Blake, maybe Robert Bruce. Anyway, he brought forward an entirely new realm. That oh, you got a copy of it right there. Wow, nice, very nice. No, it's another one. Exploring the astral. Okay, yeah. Well, anyway, him and Ophiel, and I think his book was based on his understanding of Ophiel's book, which was the art and science, or the art and practice of astral travel. But definitely check out both of those. Robert Blake, I'm thinking that's right. Astral Dynamics, and yeah, really, really good magic in those books, guys.
A realm where the rules of physics dissolve, but self-awareness remains. What if the difference between a dream and an astral journey isn't the place, but your level of awareness inside it? What if the dream world isn't a construction, but a destination? The more you dig into these experiences, the more the lines blur. People report meeting others in their dreams, strangers they later find in waking life. They describe entire worlds, landscapes, cities, and civilizations that reoccur across dreams, as if they're tapping into the same layer of reality again and again.
Yeah, here's an interesting one you guys might not be familiar with. In Dreamland, this one's actually in Dreamland, and it's up in the Mountains of Madness, and it's called the Invisible College. Now that fucking place is it's bananas, it's dynamite. So many high-level magicians go up there into the Mountains of Madness, and I've got entire like canvases of paintings, of otherworldly paintings that are done in the style of Nicholas Roerich, that I did about the Mountains of Madness and the Invisible College probably about 20 years ago, when I was paying a lot of visits to that realm. And really, really good magic there. I've never documented it for YouTube, again, because this is kind of, behind the scenes spiritual information that you just don't share openly. But tonight I'm feeling a little unusual because it is Master Lu Dongbing's birthday. He's one of the Eight Immortals. He's the de facto leader of the Eight Immortals who taught spirituality here on Earth during the Tang Dynasty. And I had some encounters today that I thought were fun. So yeah, let's open up under Aries. Let's make a new year of spiritual teaching, and just don't pull any fucking punches.
Some even claim to meet the same beings, guides, watchers, teachers, who exist beyond the logic of fiction. These aren't fleeting fragments. These are stories, interactions, relationships. Modern science shrugs and says it's just the brain sorting through memory. But how do you explain the patterns, the synchronicities, the insights that show up in waking life days after a dream encounter? You can't. Not within the current model, because the current model is built to keep you tethered to this frequency, to this body, this time, this version of reality. But quantum physics is starting to poke holes in that model. The multiverse theory, for example, proposes that every possible version of reality already exists simultaneously. Infinite timelines, infinite outcomes. And if that's true, then who's to say your consciousness can't access them? In sleep, the logical filters break down, the doors swing open, and maybe that's why some dreams feel so strange and yet so familiar.
And remember, keep in mind that according to most spiritual understanding, that anywhere from 5 to 10 things are happening at the same time. And in dreamland, there's always a half a dozen things that could be occurring. And some of those, like he said here a moment ago, some of this
current
is
model,
part of it.
Because the current model is built to keep you tethered to this frequency, to this body, this time, this version of reality. But quantum physics is starting to poke holes in that model. The multiverse theory, for example, proposes that every possible version of reality already exists simultaneously.
Is that what that is? That's a Sargon of Akkad voice? I'm not familiar with that cat, but that would be fun to find out. Ike Mike is in the house, guys. Maybe he'd like to come on and join the chat here. That's why I've got it open. There's the link if you'd like to tune in and
infinite timelines, infinite outcomes. And if that's true, then who's to say your consciousness can't access them? In sleep, the logical filters break down, the doors swing open, and maybe that's why some dreams feel so strange and yet so familiar, like echoes from a life you never lived, or maybe did, just not here. Maybe the person you are in this world is only one fragment of a much larger self. And when you sleep, you're not escaping this world, you're visiting another one, maybe even reuniting with the rest of you. The dream world isn't random. It's patterned, it's personal, and it may be parallel. Every time you lucid dream, you're practicing the art of conscious movement through dimensions. You're learning to wake up within the sleep, to shift from passenger to pilot, and with practice, it stops being an accident. It becomes exploration. There are people out there, normal people, who train themselves to visit the same places each night, to meet the same guides,
That's
to
right.
remember, to map. This isn't fantasy, it's just not common knowledge. Yet,
Right,
you've been there
right.
before, and you will go
Yeah.
again. The only
will.
question is, next time you pass through, will you know it's real?
Let's
Time
hope so.
isn't real in the way you think it is.
It's
You've
not,
felt this,
no.
even if no one's ever explained it. You've woken up from a dream that seemed to stretch across hours, days, even years,
Right?
only to look at the clock and realize you'd only been asleep for minutes. You've experienced entire lifetimes between midnight and morning, only to have it vanish with the rising sun. This
Leonardo
isn't an
DiCaprio
anomaly,
is
it's a
such
clue, a sign that when consciousness leaves
Right,
the
isn't
body,
he the one that
it also steps outside the strict rhythm of time. In
brought
the waking
forward that
world,
idea?
time is a ruler. It's linear,
It is.
measured, enforced.
It is
But in the
enforced.
dream space, time unravels. It stretches, folds, loops, disappears entirely. The laws don't apply because you're not in the same field.
It's like
You're somewhere
magic.
else. Somewhere that doesn't rely on clocks or gravity or the ticking seconds of your phone screen. That's why it's so difficult to pin dreams down. They don't follow our logic. They're not bound by our systems. And when you return to this world, you're dragging fragments of something that didn't play by the rules into a world that demands order. But here's where it gets stranger. There are people, many of them, who have dreamt things before they happened. Not vague symbols or metaphors, specific events, conversations,
dreams.
accidents, encounters, feelings. Abraham Lincoln, for example, dreamed of his own death just days before he was assassinated. He described a funeral at the White House, a president dead. He saw the casket, the mourners, the sorrow. When he told others, They dismissed it. When it happened, no one could explain it. That's not a coincidence. That's access. What if dreams are not only a playground of memory and emotion, but a gateway to possibility? What if consciousness, when detached from the body, can move not just through space, but through time itself? Some researchers believe consciousness exists outside the brain, like a signal the body receives rather than generates. If that's true, then it's not bound to your body's linear journey through time. It can jump ahead. It can look back.
I'll tell you guys
And sometimes
a couple of
you
stories
catch
about
glimpses of what's coming, not as prophecy, but as memory recalled out of order. It's not just anecdotal. Dream premonitions have been studied, documented, and collected across cultures and centuries. These are not rare, they're just dismissed because they can't be repeated in a lab. But maybe that's the point. Maybe the lab isn't where truth lives. Maybe truth is felt, not measured. And maybe the reason dreams can feel so weighty, so emotionally real, is because you're not just imagining, you're remembering or previewing. There's no clear line between past, present, and future in the dream state. That's why dreams can feel like warnings, like déjà vu, or like déjà vécu, the sensation of having already lived the moment. These experiences aren't glitches. They're cracks in the illusion of time. They're evidence that consciousness, when freed from the constraints of the body, moves differently. It doesn't walk a straight path. It flows. The sleep state is your invitation into that flow. It's not just for rest. It's for insight, for downloads, for guidance. And the more you pay attention, the more you start to notice the patterns, the symbols, the sequences, the moments that appear in dreams before they show up in life. You begin to trust the part of you that's been quietly whispering the truth while you sleep. What you call time may just be a local illusion, a rule of this layer. But dreams, those are dispatches from somewhere else, somewhere that doesn't need time to make sense. And when you stop trying to explain them with the language of waking life, you begin to see them for what they are. Messages from a part of reality where time is not a cage, but a canvas. There's a moment that some people dread, a moment where they wake up but can't move. Their eyes open, they're aware, but their bodies are frozen. No control, no escape. And in that paralysis, something even more unsettling creeps in. The feeling that they're not alone, that something is watching, that something is there. Sleep paralysis, they call it. A harmless neurological glitch, a misfiring of signals between the brain and body during REM sleep. But if you've ever experienced it, you know it feels like anything but harmless. And for many, it's not a misfire, it's an opening. Reports are eerily consistent. A shadow in the room, pressure on the chest, whispers, figures in the doorway, the overwhelming sense of presence, and sometimes the terrifying sensation of being pulled out of the body or back into it. It's not imagination, it's not hysteria. These experiences have been documented for centuries across every culture. And though the names change, demons, spirits, entities, visitors, the pattern remains. Something happens in that moment between sleep and wake, and it's not just a glitch in the brain. What if sleep paralysis isn't a malfunction, but a threshold, a doorway between dimensions where consciousness becomes unstuck, caught between the body and somewhere else? In REM sleep, your body naturally shuts down movement to keep you from acting out your dreams. But sometimes your awareness wakes up before your body does. You find yourself suspended in between, no longer dreaming, not yet fully awake. And in that thin space, perception changes. The veil thins. Some describe floating. Others say they see themselves from above. Many report a vibrational shift, a sound or frequency, right before the experience begins. These aren't symptoms of madness. They're the first signs of separation. In some traditions, this state is sought after. Cultures that embrace dream work and astral travel teach techniques to induce this paralysis on purpose
They know.
because they know what comes next. Once the fear is faced and the paralysis understood, what follows can be flight, movement, out-of-body awareness. But in a society disconnected from the non-physical, these experiences are pathologized, labeled as sleep disorders, shoved into medical boxes, dismissed
right.
as nightmares. Because if we admit that sleep
Indeed.
paralysis might be a gateway, we have to admit that consciousness
gateway
isn't
to
confined to
the
the skull, that it can detach, observe, and
Beyond the
return.
veil.
And that opens a
waking
floodgate
world.
of uncomfortable questions science doesn't want to ask. Why are the
Beyond
entities so
the wall
common?
of sleep.
Why the recurring symbols? Why do so many report being watched, or guided, or confronted by something beyond explanation? Maybe it's not fear that causes these hallucinations. Maybe it's fear that blocks the truth, because in that in-between space, your filters are gone.
You've gone
Your body can't
beyond
protect you.
before,
Your ego can't narrate.
and will
You're left with
go
raw
beyond
perception. No
again.
lens, no story, just direct
Like
experience.
sin again.
And that's where the truth waits.
Because
Some
you
people
have
never talk about their sleep
again
paralysis
to
experiences.
expand your
They're afraid of
ken.
sounding crazy.
And
But the more
so
people
will
share,
practice
the more a collective
Zen.
picture emerges.
Now and
This isn't a
again,
rare
when you
defect.
think of
It's a
Zen again,
recurring doorway.
get in your
A space where
Zen,
consciousness slips,
expand
hesitates,
your ken,
and sometimes
and
catches a glimpse
feel
of what
the
lies
yen
just beyond.
for the
You may not want to
world
be there when it
beyond.
happens. You may fight it, resist it, try to scream yourself awake.
Going through
But the next time it comes,
doors,
try this instead.
looking out
Observe,
windows.
breathe. Feel the stillness not as a trap, but as a space between worlds.
Breathe
There's something to learn
and
there
relax.
about who you are, where you go, and what watches when you arrive.
Rhythmic breathing.
Every night, you travel. You see things that defy
And
logic,
you go in
feel emotions that stretch
to the worlds beyond. And we are back. Welcome back, Wayfarer. I hope you're doing well out there in Happy Land, wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you may be receiving this transmission. Correspondence in the Kybalion by the three initiates is as above, so below, like the Baphomet on Katy Perry's little patch as she rode that dildo-shaped rocket up into the sky, came back down as the feminine divine goddess incarnate. Worship her on your knees, peasant! And all hail the mother Hydra, the father Dagon. Yeah, Cthulhu has risen. You know it. You know the secret, don't you? You have been initiated into the order of the esoteric order of Dagon. And we'll go ahead and finish up this video for today, guys, because we got other things to do. We've got other fish to fry. And I hope you liked the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's transmission. For all of you who stopped by, thanks for tuning in. Remember, why even do it, right? Who even gives any kind of fucks? Except for to be consistent, right? Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. Invoke often. And remember, O neophyte, goodness alone is power, silence is strength, will regaineth omnipotence, and love lieth at the foundation. Do not be deceived by the great deceptions of our world. The deception of spirit. You know, you're not a monkey, man. We have not risen up from the apes. We have descended from the celestials. Man and woman need not be at war with each other. All right, that's the third of the three great deceptions. The first is the deception of spirit. The second is the deception of scarcity. Right? These false dichotomies. The three false dichotomies that I've identified as what I call the three great deceptions are the deception of spirit and matter, right? The separation of heaven and earth, and to lie to us and say that we're monkey men like Joe Rogan, right? You don't need to be a fucking ape like him, all right? You can be a child of God, and welcome back. Welcome back to the kingdom of heaven. The second great deception, the deception of scarcity and abundance. The cosmos is endlessly generating. Our prime material plane is endlessly creating. Every spring, hundreds of thousands of millions of flowers bloom, fruits are created, dust is shaken up, plants emerge, people emerge, all the animals re-emerge. Our cosmos is abundant. That's the second great deception. The third is that man and woman should be at war with each other, the battle of the sexes, the removal of the divine feminine from our spirituality. That's the third great deception. And these three great deceptions are what pull the veil over our eyes. Abandon them and return to a more natural state. But, you know, I've said too much. I have said far too much for any given transmission. With that, we will finish with the invocation of total integration. Heaven and earth are the spontaneous manifestations of the subtle, wondrous universal law. As the original oneness expresses itself, gross and subtle energies become distinctly divided. Our bodily caves are brightly illuminated by the mysterious light from the three sources, our three Dantian, bridge points leading to immortality. The powerful spirits of the eight directions can join our being with the true origin of life. By the absolute order of the divine Ling Bao in the highest ninth heaven, send the positive energies of Qianluo, Dana, Dunkan, and Taishuan to destroy our spiritual obstacles and debilitate any evil influences. This order is given by the highest sovereignty. It is a jade oracle from the subtle origin. I invoke with strong sincerity to drive away the demons and evils and lengthen my healthy years. The attained spirits respond. The evil demon king, Mo Wang, is chained to stand as my guardian servant. The powerful atmosphere has been generated, dispersing all negativity. The Qi of Tao is everlasting. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Amen. Hail unto thee who art raw in thy rising, even unto thee who art raw in thy strength, who travellest over the heavens at the uprising of the sun. Tahuti standeth in his splendor at the prow, and Ra Horkoit abideth at the helm. Hail unto thee from the abodes of the night. Thank you for tuning in, Wayfarer. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And give a little shout out to Frater Sal Smith here in the comments. Maybe hit the likes and subscribe. All that happy horse shit that makes YouTube's algorithms bark like Pavlov's dog. Join the 100-day challenge Way of the Psionic Agent and check me out on buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Until next time, Wayfarer, keep doing good magic, and I'll see you in the abodes of the future. Bye for now, everyone. Ad Astra Prospera.